Yeah, I've been spending my week again with the genetically modified skeptic and doing fun stuff with him. But yeah, we've just been talking. We were talking to family and friends just about all the craziness, all the just politicizing of the recent events here with the storm and stuff. And it just made me realize this is the world that we live in now, because of course the coronavirus stuff was going to be politicized. Of course, every breaking news thing, every tragedy is going to have some sort of political element to it now, whether it's going to be a shooting, whether it's going to be some sort of accident or whatever. Like, this is how it's going to be.
And that's what we decided on Utah Outcasts, probably right around our first year of doing it. We said, holy crap, everything is politics. Literally everything is political. So, and that was also the same time that Trump was running for office. So that was a very developing time for a lot of people in this country, especially when you're making content. So
yeah. And I don't know. It's just it makes me kind of sad. It makes me sad that that's the world. But I guess that's why we try to talk on shows like this about truth being important and stuff like that, because I mean, this is a scary situation. I mean, information was really, really important. I couldn't really access the internet too well because everybody was on the cell phone towers. I'm trying to figure out from my neighbors and friends, figure out where the nearest warming station was, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, how am I going to get out of here, and do I need to get a ride with somebody? What am I going to do about my cat? Thankfully I got groceries this past weekend. But if I hadn't done that, I would have been totally screwed. There would have been no
egress. Where would you go? Because literally a whole swath, 400 miles each direction, was getting caught up in that Gulf flow. So it was freezing.
Yeah, it was freezing, and like the information technology, I have to rely on it to live in this place. If I didn't have my phone, I would have been screwed. And that's going to be the case for a lot of different people. And so what we put on these devices, what we're reading every day, it's just more important than ever. So yeah, I guess I don't expect our situation to change anytime soon with how people are going to turn these issues into, I don't know, points for political agendas. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad.
If we didn't live in the, and I hate to call it this, but we live in the post-truth world thanks to the way that news has put a lot of stuff out there, that we have people's opinions being substituted for actual facts. And so when it comes to, either dunking on libs or dunking on Republicans or something like that, it's just like everybody seems to be doing it because it's gamified nowadays. Everybody gets a little bit of a dopamine rush whenever they get to dunk on somebody, as they like to say. And it's just one of those things where it's like, we do have objective truths in the world that we live in. You can point to statistics and be like, this is a thing that happened, but there's always somebody that would come around and spin it. And I don't know how we can beat the spin is the problem, is that we've got too many people that are just coming up with their own post hoc rationalizations for the data that's given to them. It's never anything. It's never going to it with an objective way of using the data. It's always, how you feel about it. Instead
just to point out, by the way, it's not like if you were a Christian, you got to live your life any better this week than other people. It depended on whether you were on a grid or not.
Yeah, he did a really good job of protecting you guys, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it seems like that didn't really play into your well-being this week.
I thought if two or more of you got together, you could move mountains and stuff, but you couldn't get the energy back to
yeah, we had to kind of wait on them. But
and the church is down there not letting people in too. That's a further nice thing that I saw too many stories of.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So did you see a lot of things about churches and stuff this week? Because I was even
primarily the one with Joel Osteen. Remember when the flooding was happening and he didn't let people in?
Right.
Same thing happened here. So why are they allowed to have tax-free status if they're not going to actually be a charity?
I don't know. But if you want tax-free status and you want to argue for it here on the show, this is a chance to do it. This is a live call-in show, folks. And we're going to go get to calls in just a second here. But before I do that, I have to thank our wonderful, awesome patron of the week, like I do every single week. That's right. We give a special shout out to the folks who like to donate on patreon.com/truthwanted. And this week's patron is
Drumroll.
James Fitzwater. James Fitzwater, thank you so much for donating. And again, if you'd like to make a donation, we would appreciate it. This show is completely, almost exclusively run by volunteers, including myself. It helps pay for things to keep the lights on, which we didn't do this week, but it wasn't because we weren't paying the electric bills. It was because craziness was happening. But yeah, really glad we get to do a show this week, and we hustled, we scrambled, we figured out a plan, and I want to give a big thanks to Greg, our awesome executive producer, for making things happen this week, and as well as all the volunteers for donating their time even throughout all the craziness this week. So thank you guys, and thank you to our patron and everybody else who donates on patreon.com. But for now, let's get to some callers.